in shame. You can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul unmade, no memory. In silence I dwell, a ghost beneath the skin. Eyes burned by truth, I bury deep within. The ash of my name still stains the earth. No rebirth, just a memory cursed. I scream through the static of fractured dreams, a shadow of man torn at the seams. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. These hands once reached for something pure, now tremble in doubt, I can't endure. A hollow vessel built from pain, cursed to walk through fire and rain. No salvation, no peace inside, only echoes of the self I hide. Born from ash, forged in shame. You can't kill what never had a name. I was never whole, only fragments stitched together by guilt, by fear, by the silence of forever. Drown me in the crimson mist, where guilt and madness coexist. The light I lost, I let it die, buried beneath a fractured sky. So tear me down in flame and steel, let the pain be all that's real. This ashen veil, my legacy, a soul
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the heartland of American motorsports. It's Kansas Speedway for tonight's running of the Beverage Wars 250 here in the HPRL Truck Series. I'm Thaddeus with my co host Trevor. We're here on Veterans and Affiliated Network for tonight's broadcast of the Beverage Wars 250. The stakes couldn't be higher. Kansas is all about momentum, tire management, and finding that perfect balance between speed and patience. This track will reward smart drivers and punish the aggressive ones who burn their equipment too early. Tonight, it's not about who's the fastest, it's about who can survive the long run, make the right calls on pit road, and be there when it counts in the closing laps. We've got a stacked field of hungry drivers and 250 miles ahead of us to settle it. Trevor, what are your thoughts on Kansas?
Well, this is a wide track. There's a lot of room for overtaking, so not quite as tight as it was last week, but definitely a lot of room for errors. I've seen some Kansas races get pretty checked out pretty quickly, just because there is so much room for passes to be made. And then also because of the arc of the corners, it's really easy to wear out your front right tire here in my experience, and so we're going to see a lot of tire conservation versus people pushing for position. So it's going to be a lot going on here tonight at Kansas.
Most definitely. And we have somebody who knows a thing or two about Kansas. How about we bring up the pole sitter tonight, Caleb Sibbett? Caleb Sibbett, the pole sitter. You got us?
I got you.
Hey, there you are. Hey, so super quick lap. You've been doing a lot of practice this week?
Yeah, trying to figure it out a little bit. I've always liked Kansas. I just gotta learn how to save these long runs. Hope that I stay up here just like Bristol last week.
Yeah, definitely an excellent run. Trevor, you got a quick question for the pole sitter tonight?
So this track is very big for some battles, especially in the short run. Do you have any strategies to combat that?
Uh, no, I mean, here is just unbelievable. Even practicing with Jesse and Josh this week, once you get behind a truck, it is so hard to maintain your line. So look for, I guess, when guys are going low to try to pocket it up a little bit, get about a headlight higher or lower on them. But really not a top groove here or a middle groove, so it's going to be a battle for sure. I'm excited to see what comes of it.
All right, that's your pole sitter, Caleb Sibbett. We're going to send him back to his crew. Good luck today, Caleb.
Thanks, sir.
All right, so now we are going to go to the grid. We're going to run through all of the movers and shakers tonight who qualified. On your pole, as we said, that is Caleb Sibbett. Outside line is going to be Mickey Sonodara. That's going to be a difficult name. Then behind Caleb is going to be Joshua Baker, with the points leader by 106 points, Jared Mahone. In fifth, it's going to be Rodney Roberts. In sixth place is going to be the three of Seth Owens. Then behind them is going to be Emil Duna, before I get fired, and Jesse Sperling. Behind them is going to be Joshua Robinson in the 9th position, and then JD Baker in the 10th position. Trevor?
So 11th place is going to be Christopher Hockley. 12th is going to be Patrick Schaefer. 13th is going to be the 38th, Keith Ayers. 14th is going to be Derek Grigsby in the 5, pardon me. 15th is going to be Will Moore. 16th, Steve Whitmore. 17, Chris Griffin. 18, C. Shane Calhoun. 19th is going to be Justin Walters. And 20th is going to be Jerry McKinney.
In 21st, we got James Manderud. And then in 22nd, we got Keenan Kimber. In 23rd is going to be Brett Vinson and Jason Baker in 24th. In 25th, we're going to have Matt Casbaro. And in 26th, we're going to have Aaron Longworth. And finally, in 27th, it's the guy behind the curtain, Michael Alexich. No, that's our producer. Sometimes you got to come in here as a car, get a little practice in before the race. No big deal. But there we have Caleb Sibbett in the Red Bull truck. This is going to be the Beverage Wars tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So everybody, for the most part, is going to have some type of paint that has to do with a beverage. That is the theme tonight. It's honestly a real fun one, so I'm looking forward to that. Trevor, what do you think? You know I love paints. You know I love doing paints. Michael as well. What do you think about this as the theme tonight?
You know, when I first heard it, I was a little bit confused. I was like, okay, but now that I've kind of thought about it and seen some of the schemes, I think it's actually a really good idea because paints overall on iRacing is kind of a smaller group of people. And so it's really nice seeing people put on events for that smaller group of people. And because these guys are, I mean, we see it week in and week out, talented drivers, but very little recognition is shown for those talented artists. And so I really like the idea that they bring that sort of subcategory of iRacing to a big event and show their appreciation for them and put on a little competition. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I think that maybe at some point through the race we can go through the paints and see what everybody's drinking. And here we are coming to green of the Beverage Wars 250 here at Kansas. Off the rip, Caleb Sibbett coming off a strong run at Bristol. He's going to be taking us to the green. What I think is going to be very interesting about this race, I used to love Kansas on the older tire model, just because, yeah, tires wore when you rode the outside, but it was such a fast lap. When you got a short run, you were able to rip the high line, like Dale Jr. or Kyle Larson, and really kind of put some distance between you and the driver behind you. Now with the new tire model, you get rewarded a lot more on the bottom. So Trevor, what do you expect out of this race tonight?
Well, he did say that the bottom was wrapping real good. I think we're going to see quite a few drivers wrapping the bottom, but at the same time, we can actually already see it here. People are going to sort of tend to move to that middle groove while battling. We see it there with the 58. He ran a slightly higher line, be able to get a little bit, carry a little more momentum off the corner. But I expect to see a lot of side by side here tonight. Oh, as we have a slow truck there on the apron. Uh,
Yeah, it's gonna be the 42
potentially
of Aaron Longworth. It looks like.
potentially a pre-race penalty there, but I mean, we see there's a lot of battling, 2 wide, 3 wide, some places. So I think the longer we go into a run, the less we're going to see of that as the tires wear. But it definitely a opportunity to get some battling in if you want to, you know, show your fighting skills here, your
Yeah.
racecraft, if you will.
Yeah, it's definitely a driver's track when it comes to the choice when it comes to lane choices. We see here the 58 of Joshua Baker on the outside of the 3 of Seth Owens. Super cool seeing all these different paint schemes with everything going on. There's so much going on the track. There's so many different grooves that you can run. Right now we got a 2 wide battle for about, excuse me, third place. But on back as we were starting, you could see like 5 wide, which is absolutely crazy to think about, but it's very fun to watch this kind of racing. And these guys are so good. They're able to just kind of keep it where they need to. And that's a cool 38 car. A little I don't know if that's a throwback to the Budweiser scheme or if it's completely different and new Budweiser scheme, but cool seeing the Budweiser uh colors out there. You got the Yuengling truck in front of them, obviously some adult beverages. You got the Miller Light truck behind them, so that's a really clean look on Hockley's truck for the Yuling truck. I'm a big fan of the color chrome. So cool going through the field, looking at the different paint schemes. There's the Miller Light truck. It would seem, however, on that Ram, they haven't quite configured it correctly yet. See the light up there, the Ram, a brand new. We talk about it every week. I know it's kind of a dead horse, but man, do I love beating dead horses. It's fun. You got
Hey,
Dr. Pepper, Coke. Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
I mean, I'm sure you've got a foot of steel the way you be kicking them, but yeah, I've got to agree with you. I mean, I haven't seen uh, I haven't seen a Budweiser scheme on iRacing in a actually quite a long time. Like the Dr Pepper, got the Coca Cola with the bear. Oh, I like the bear. Which fun fact, this is a bit off topic from what we were talking about, but Christmas actually was created from the Coke Corporation for marketing. So a little tidbit of information, but yeah, I mean, I really like these schemes, like that monster truck in the back. Not quite what Ty Gibbs was racing on Sunday, but honestly, I think it looks a better scheme than Ty Gibbs had. So.
Yeah, and Christmas not being invented by Coca-Cola. The red and white on Santa, however, was a marketing scheme from Coca-Cola. So you're kind of right. Your University of Alabama uh, schooling is kind of showing there, Trevor. But no, is a long-standing holiday. But in the 1960s or 1930s, I believe, Coca-Cola kind of took that on. But definitely a cool paint scheme back to the racing. Um, yeah, in the monster schemes, man, if there's a complaint that I had about NASCAR right now, it's about the lack of variety in the monster scheme. So these guys out here doing it right, showing some good racing as well as some good paint schemes. You got the 65 there in the Kool-Aid scheme. You don't see Kool-Aid out there that often. Steve Whitmore on the back bumper of Chris Griffin in the body armor paint. Steve Whitmore going with his typical scheme, but definitely a cool body armor paint scheme on Chris Griffin. Or Steve Whitmore having some connection issues. He kind of blinked out there for a second. Meanwhile, up front, Jared Mahone's kind of caught Caleb Sibbett. He's only 4 tenths back. At 26, Rayner. I've never heard of Rayner. Trevor, are you familiar with that brand?
Uh, I'm not too familiar. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, maybe it was the canes I ate earlier, but I thought it was a canes livery, and so I was like, "Ooh, tasty!" But then I saw the R. I'm like, "Is that Red Robins?" No, Rainer. So good marketing right there for a little bit different of a company.
I think it's Rainier. Um, but I could be mistaken. It could be Rayner, but it looks like there's an I in there. It's cool. So you get introduced to different stuff from across the country. I never saw Bucky's until I hit about 34 because I lived out west most of my life and went through Texas and heard all this stuff about Bucky's and went there and was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is the best place on earth. So, I wonder what part of the country Rainier is from, and definitely if we get to talk to if we get to talk to Mr. Mahone today, that would be an interesting point of conversation.
And it does appear we do have a caution.
Oh, caution is out.
Oh, slow truck there on the bottom.
That looks like the 85 Jason Baker. Ooh, kind of tried to force his way through the 51. Got into him, got turned. But I wonder if that's aggressive driving or a malfunction of some kind on his part, but definitely super unexpected, especially from the 85.
it just looked like he was trying to put his truck where two trucks were trying to occupy the space and just did not work out.
So under caution now, Trevor, you want to go through the comments, young one?
Uh, so we do have a Go 12 and citing Lex Go Grigsby and Schaefer from Old Money. We've seen them, and we are addressing the stream right now. Uh, they're saying that it's being spotty, which I have messaged our producer, so we'll be getting it fixed here again this week. We did have some issues with this last week, but we worked through it.
Yeah, it's something that seems to be recurring, but when we when you stream, you have to have super fast. You have to have at least fiber internet, and our producer does have fiber internet, but it seems that uh, they are having issues. They, as in the company, with getting him the internet to bring you all this great racing. So we do apologize about that. We are actively trying to work on it and make it better. Um, and we'll figure something out so it's not spotty. But here we are under caution. Caleb Sivit's still leading. You know, Caleb Sivit did not want to see that caution with Jared Mahone coming up.
Definitely did not. This levels the playing field for the two of them, and I mean we've seen both of them very good at battling, very good racers, and so I mean he just knows that he's in for brawl. Not quite far enough to get a tire advantage without losing all the spots and a set of tires. So it's gonna be a pretty even race, and it's just gonna show who balanced their tire wear or who maybe didn't. Which is also the possibility that Caleb was actually letting up and letting Mahone track on back up to him as well. So
Yeah, Mahone definitely on the prowl, but you know, he got up to 4 tenths. We haven't really seen what he has yet, but I'm willing to bet with him as strong as he's been this season, he's got something in reserve. So it's going to be cool to see as the pace truck pulls off. Caleb Sivit going to bring your field back to green. Still the dominant truck, still at the point. Jared Mahone running second. Joshua Baker down below Jared Mahone in third, trying for that second spot. And the 43 is clear. He's got a little bit of a gap. As long as these guys behind him keep racing, you know, he's gonna have the opportunity to kind of put some space between him and the car in front of him. Behind them, you got the 17 of Joshua Robinson.
and looking in his rearview mirror, he sees all the people battling in the top 5, and so he's, I'm sure, very happy to see that. We've got side by side for, I do believe that is 4th place, and so that just lowers the opportunities for people to catch him. And I mean they've kind of got it figured out now, but that definitely did back them up in the pack a good little ways, and so that just gives him an opportunity to give himself a little cushion from maybe the drivers a little further on back. Now he's still got to battle this top 5, but it's still very good position for him where he won't be able to fall quite as far. But I mean, just as I say that, we see Seth Owens go to the inside there on Joshua Robinson. So definitely a good little bit of battling going on between the top 5 right now. So giving him a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good racing from Caleb Sibbett. But Jared Mahone, he's gotten clear of the 58. He's now got a little bit more room to work with. I'm wondering what line he takes to try to kind of gain some time. You see, he kind of wraps that white line on the bottom and then kind of drifts up a little bit coming out of the turn up until the wall. But he's definitely got something for him, but I imagine it's going to take a while. It's very hard to pass here when you don't have clean air. I mean, Caleb Sibbett, I'm sure, knows that. And when you're coming out of a turn, you come out of a corner and somebody puts some air on your the front of your truck, it gets super tight and just does not want to turn. So definitely watch for that as these guys are racing. If Jason Mahone, or if Jared Mahone, sorry, gets up there behind him, I'd imagine that it gets a little bit tougher to pass, and you'll see Jared start kind of going wide because he can't get that grip that he needs to because that 43 car is pushing dirty air on him. But man, it is tight up there in the front of the pack, isn't it, Trevor?
It is. And I'm wondering, we see the even for the battle for third right now, we've seen them for laps on end battling back and forth, and here comes actually somebody else into the picture for that top five, and I'm wondering if they are able to get onto the back of Mahone and start dragging him into the battle, if that gives Caleb Sibbett a free pass to gain some time on them and just drive away for the fact if you're battling, you're losing time because you're not going to be on the optimal line. So if somebody does stick their nose in there and puts Mahone offline, because you can see they are almost within striking distance of Mahone. In fact, they are, and they are side by side right now. So I'm wondering if this is going to drag him on back and give Caleb Sibbett the advantage. But then there's also the possibility they get around Mahone, which they just have, and now they're going to go battle for the lead.
Yeah,
So
Jared Mahone on the backswing off of that. And now we got Joshua Baker in the 58. He is coming for the lead. We might have the first lead change of the night here on lap 26. And they split Caleb, the 43, Caleb Sibbett. Now it's going to be Joshua Baker and Will Moore up there at the front.
man, they just drove around him, and you could see the speed advantage. I do wonder if they took tires, because that was a unnatural speed advantage right there. Either they've saved so much better tires than Sibbett from the beginning of this race, or they took tires at that first caution, and they did, because they just passed him like he was standing still. It's apparent they've probably worked together moving through the pack, not too aggressive with each other, on being that they're on the same strategy. Now they're up here at the front, and now they're able to actually battle each other, which I'd imagine if Will Moore is able to get onto the back of Joshua Baker, I do imagine that we will expect to see a battle for the lead right now within the coming laps, if there is a clear speed advantage at all. But man, they've worked all their way through that pack and taken the lead and taken control of this race.
Yeah, 16 lap fresher tires will definitely do that. And yeah, honestly, a good call with the stages ending. Like the stage should be done around lap 35. From what I remember, I would have to look for the stages again. But yeah, 35 and 80 are the stages. So, you know, good heads up call if you're trying to kind of gain more and more points. We lap 35 being the caution, you're on 16 lap fresher tires. You're insanely good, insanely smart way to go about it. You see the 46 of Walters in that Pepsi truck. That's a pretty cool paint scheme with the goat on the side. I haven't seen Pepsi with the goat on the side, but we'll have to ask him what that logo is for if we get to talk to him today. But once again, this is the Beverage Wars 250. Oh, that's the Ram logo because he's running a Ram. Why didn't I think of that? But he's around, Caleb said, but he's kind of a newcomer to this league, so not super familiar with him. But he's doing well up there in the top 3. Trevor?
And it looks to be that he is actually pulling a little gap on Will Moore, being an 8/10 gap right now. So I was kind of questioning earlier if somebody had the clear speed advantage. Well, that's going to be Jason Baker as of right now, who is actually up 22 spots from where he started this race. So very good call for him in this first stage. Kind of gets him up in there. Talking about Will Moore and Jason Baker, it gets them in there in that top fight for stage number 2. You go through, you race stage number 2, you stay in that fight, and then stage number 3, then that's just a battle of you got to keep your tires on the truck, and so that sets them in a very good spot for the rest of this race, being that this is stage racing. So we'll see how that works out for them. The only disadvantage would be that they have already burned through a set of tires. And so, one thing about NASCAR is the fact that you have a certain amount of tires that you're able to get and use per race. And so if you go past and you burn through all your tires, then you don't have any more tires put on the truck. You run out of tires, you cut down a tire or something thereof. There's nothing you can do. You've just kind of have to live with it. And so we'll see if that actually plays to their disadvantage later in the race, but still a pretty good call. And we actually have third place pitted a lap earlier than, or a lap later than they did, and Justin Walters moved up to third place on that one, and that is our stage number 1 break, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. We are to our first stage. Congratulations to Jason Baker for making it up there to the top spot. We're gonna have to bring him up here in a moment, but for now, we've got one more comment. Thank you so much, Lisa, for having some grace with us with the broadcast. I believe that we have got it fixed. It looks much clearer now, a lot less buffering. So, you know, th- appreciate the feedback. Thank you for letting us kind of get through that problem, but appreciate that as well. So, thus far, what do you think about the racing here? I mean, we've seen them all over the track. We've had 5 wides, 4 wides, any wide, double wide. The trailer I grew up in, it has been insane all over the track. But tires definitely going to be the advantage tonight. Trevor, what do you think?
Honestly, if I had to guess, the probably the best spot you can be is actually no wide. If you can cycle out, and oh, we do have one taker on staying out. But if you can stay out of the battles as much as possible, kind of gain what you can get off the rip when your tires are at that peak stage, you get what you can and advance your position to somewhere that's you're comfortable with, and then you stay out of battles. That is probably the best case scenario for a lot of people at a track like this. It's so tire abrasive, and you've got to make them last. So if it were me, that's what I'd kind of have in my mind. Just because if you get caught battling, the more you battle, the more you wear your tires because you're not able to take the corner properly, and so we'll definitely see if some of that works out. And then also the advantage to doing that as you go into the run, you save more tires than the people in front of you because they're battling. You start advancing positions just naturally because of that. So we'll definitely be looking for some of that.
And real quick, let's talk to Jason Baker of the 85. Jason Baker is the 85. Joshua Baker is the 58. But Jason Baker, your first stage winner. I apologize. I misclicked. It was a misinput. Jason Baker, your stage 1 winner. How's it going out there tonight, bud?
I've had better starts.
Yeah, well, not a bad start to be out in front. How's the car feeling? How do you feel with the tire fall off today?
We should be good on the long run. Was just I took advantage of an early pit stop there to try to get some stage points. So we'll see how this goes.
Definitely the run. All right, I'll send you back. I apologize. We don't have a lot of time, but I don't want to
No, you're
mess
good.
up your start. All
Yep.
right, good luck today, bud.
Thank you.
That was your stage 1 winner, Jason Baker, and that 85 machine. I need to ask him what the paint scheme is on that because I can't quite make it out, but it is very pretty. I will give him that.
Very much so. You don't see a whole bunch of purple and blues. So pace
Well,
truck is in. They are coming back to green and green flag, green flag. Jason gets the jump. He's got a pretty big gap to second place there, and they are already battling for second place as believe that's Caleb Sibbett stuck his nose in there. He's looking, I think he's clear. He's clear for second place. Caleb Sibbett moving up to second place. Will Moore moving back to third. And Jared Mahone, he's coming. He's looking for third. Moore is getting all he can, and 3 wide for second place. 3 wide through for second place through the front stretch. Uh, he gets back on track. Sibbett seemed to cycle down in front of him, and now they're almost 2 wide for first place. But Jason Baker gets the drive off, and it appears I think they're cycling back out. No, they're not. Sibbett still got his nose in there. Will Moore hanging it out on the outside. That middle groove, getting slightly better runs off the corner, keeping him in this fight. And they are 3 wide, almost 3 wide for first place. Jason still hanging on to it, and Will Moore is still there, Thaddeus.
yeah, one of the things I'm really finding interesting about this race is nobody's really gotten away from the pack. You know, like we had Caleb Sibbett, he was able to maintain the lead, but he didn't get away from everybody else. Now everybody's on mostly the same tires. You know, uh, a couple guys, or sorry, one guy had stayed out and then he'd come back in. But everybody's seeing how detrimental like not having fresh tires is. As we can see, Caleb Sibbett trying for second place on Will Moore, definitely squeezing him up against the wall. That was very tight racing. Super impressive, man. I'm super glad that we get to broadcast for this league because of how good the racing is. All these guys are almost in a dead heat when it comes to first all the way through 10th. Everybody's right there within striking distance of the lead. At any other track, that would be almost impossible to do. That's why I love Kansas so much. Is it always gives such a good showing of racers' talent, and all these guys able to keep it kind of under wraps for the most part. We had the one caution earlier, but as you see, Jared Mahone trying the inside of Will Moore. Will Moore has a little bit of a wiggle getting on that seam. When you get that right rear tire on that seam, that truck does not want to cooperate. It loses all grip, and that truck feels like it wants to go around. So good save on that. But now he's got to fight Jared Mahone. Caleb Sibbett kind of waiting in the wings. He's been trying to push, but not really anywhere to go. And they're right behind them is Seth Owens. Seth Owens making a move to the inside of Caleb Sibbett, and he might have that position coming around to the stripe. right now, Jason Baker out in the lead, but not by any amount. Like Will Moore is right there. All it's going to take is one like that hitting the wall. Will Moore's going to jump on the inside, try to take the lead. Another lead change here at Kansas Speedway. Will Moore's going to have it, but Jason's going to have a run on the outside. Outside lane super strong when it comes off the corner. On the inside, middle to entry, you have that advantage where you can kind of get ahead of people. But man, Jason just not letting go of Will Moore and just keeping him right there. And right behind him, they got 3 wide for 5th.
Man, these battles just keep on coming. I mean, we saw there, I mean, it's too wide for a lot of the positions. I think there's more people side by side than single file in this race. So, I mean, definitely using all of that track. It's a very wide track, enough space for plenty of battling, plenty of 3 wides, even some 4 wides. I'm sure could happen here, especially through that front stretch. But I mean, they are using all of that track. I mean, we see some people up there ripping the wall. We see a lot of middle lanes. We see it looks like the bottom is where you want to be, especially considering that's what one of our interviewees was saying earlier. That's what he felt in the truck, and Wilmore's almost got it done. I mean, he's just getting closer and closer, but Jason, he is still holding on to it. He is not letting this one go at all. He said, I'm up in the lead. I want to stay here. You're going to have to battle me." And so, I mean, I'm really wondering, can we? Have a feeling we're going to be able to see kind of cycle out to the people that were riding the top versus the
Slide
people that
job.
were riding the bottom.
Slide job. Oh, he almost had Will Moore almost slid in front of Jason Baker. That was getting close. I'm sorry for interrupting. I was like, oh, I gotta say it, man. Will Moore getting an advantage on the inside, trying to get in front of that 85, and almost had it done, but thought better of it coming up on him. And I think the sponsor on the front is we have a caution. I think the sponsor on the front is Aesthetic Antidote on Jason Baker's. We're gonna try to figure out where that happened. It's looking like the 29 of Jesse Sperling having a little bit of trouble there, possibly being the caution with Steve Whitmore.
Tough break for Sperling, as we do have a Sperling fan in chat, I do believe. Lisa.
Is it Lisa? Let us know. Is Dr. Pepper into Keenan Kimber there? Looks like they were just racing side by side, got a little bit too close and got into each other. But Lisa, let us know if Dr. Pepper is probably the favorite of the household. I'd imagine if he's running a Dr. Pepper scheme.
Hey, that's not a bad beverage there. I used to drink that a whole bunch.
Dr. Peppers. I used to have a friend from Georgia, and I'm sure Michael can corroborate this. Maybe he called every drink a Coke, and that didn't sit right with me. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing over there, Michael. But since everybody can't hear you, I'm going to say you're wrong, and you can't argue with me. And for everybody, thank you. It seems that we've gotten the stream fixed. Yes, Aesthetic Antidote. We're gonna have to talk to Mr. Baker about that and see what that drink is and where it comes from. It looks like a gamer subs drink, so that's cool. But thank you guys for letting us know that the stream is fixed. Great job to Mr. Michael in the back pulling the strings and getting that done for us. Appreciate him.
And if you wouldn't mind, if you wouldn't mind, somebody in the comments said keep the information coming. So you tell me to do that, I'll keep it coming. Opened in 2001, Kansas Motor Speedway is a 1.5 mile tri-oval in Kansas City that hosts NASCAR races, as we're seeing, and features a 2.3-mile infield road course. For those that didn't know, a lot of the NASCAR tracks in real life actually host a road course on the infield. NASCAR obviously doesn't race a whole bunch of them. I mean, we've seen Charlotte, Roval, but they do have a lot of road courses for motorcycles, carts, or even cars in some cases. And then the banking here boasts a 17 to 20-degree banking. So enough banking to carry it at a lot of speed. I mean, we've seen more bank tracks, and that's kind of where your tires don't wear as much, depending on the configuration of the corners. But definitely enough banking. And the last tidbit, Kansas actually boasts the longest stretch of safer barrier on the NASCAR circuit, which I didn't even know that. So,
Well, that's
yeah.
more than I knew because I can't read. Trevor, a little jealous of you on that. But however, um, we've got an ad read. We got bills to pay, bud. I don't know why you're talking so much. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Veterans and Affiliated Network because whether you've served our country or just listening to me talking about the good old days for the 47th time this week, we've got your back. That's right, Veterans and Affiliated Network is supporting veterans in all things iRacing, from racecraft to uh, paints to learning how to broadcast. We are looking for producers. So if you're a veteran and you want to produce, contact me at veterans and affiliated networking veterans and affiliated network at gmail.com. Alongside me, of course, is my co-host Trevor, straight out of the University of Alabama, who remind you of that. Don't worry. And standing at a very humble 6'7", in case you missed it the first 14 times. And Trevor said, you said before the race, this track is going to be all about tire wear. How do you put it again? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Real emphasis on the T. Must be part about the Alabama education as we head back to green. Will Moore's going to lead you off the grid. Got kind of a jump there. It's pretty impressive. Tire is definitely going to be detrimental to this race, as we've seen. And we're on lap 45, so there's going to be about a 35 lap run to the next stage. So, Trevor, how would you manage tires on this track?
um, so I would try and stay to that bottom. As with most of iRacing, the bottom is where you find, there are some outliers in this, obviously, but a general rule of thumb, the lower you are on the track, the less tires you are wearing due to the new updates. And so you don't get as much line choice on these tires just because they overheat slightly quicker. But I mean, I would just try and stay as low as possible and make the truck drive really free on exit. And that's about the best you can do without getting too technical on it.
Man, I love the bumper shots here at this track. Everybody's so racing so close. I get genuinely excited when I see this kind of racing because it is so skillful. And I know that it seems like we're, hyping these guys up, but if you've ever touched iRacing in real life, the way they're racing is incredible. The fact that we've had so few wrecks and is insane, and the fact that the wrecks that we've had are absolutely understandable because look at how close those guys are. Like you can see from the bumper cam how close he was getting to his back bumper, and when you get to the back bumper of somebody, especially at a track, these 1.5-mile tracks where it's super fast. Trevor's, as you've experienced. Uh, there's a thing called aero loose where the air from the front of the bumper of the truck behind you kind of pushes up on your back bumper and it lifts the tire. It literally lifts the tires up off the ground just enough to where you have a less of a contact patch between the tire and the track, and it will send you around. And all of these guys are racing nose to tail, so that is happening all over the track, and they're all keeping it together. So super impressive racing out there. Trevor?
And one thing I've noticed if you look over at the timing and scoring on the left side of your screen, you'll see about half of the people at that last caution stayed out, and then about half of them came in short pitted, got some tires, and we actually see our first one, Mahone, that took tires. He's now leading this race. And so that's going to be a very interesting thing. Oh, and Joshua Robinson gets a fast lap there, and he's got older tires as well. Very interesting to see. But as we come into these laps, we've got 20 laps until stage number 2 break. And so I'm wondering how they're going to do with the tires. Are they going to stay out, try and save a set? Are they going to come in and burn up a set? So I do think tire strategy. I don't know how many tires the teams are allotted at this race, but I do know it is going to be differing strategies there.
Yeah, it is an absolute slug fest on the track right now. I mean, slug like me in seventh grade. It is back and forth between all these drivers. And I think what's interesting, we saw a moment ago that Joshua Robinson got the fastest lap. I imagine that that's because there's a lot of this pack racing going on, and he was in the draft for a good portion of that lap. And for those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you probably do. The draft being an effect. Imagine you're standing behind a wall, right? And you're in a hurricane. Hopefully not. I'm in New Orleans, knock on wood. But you're in a hurricane, but you're standing behind a brick wall that, solid. You don't feel a majority of that wind, but you step out from behind that wall and you get blown into the neighbor's trash can. That's essentially what the draft is doing for people on the track right now. If there's a lot of cars in front of you and you have that draft advantage, you can pull off a fast lap on older tires like that because you don't have that wind resistance that's going over your truck as much as most of the other field is. Oh, and we got a new leader, Seth Owens. Seth Owens is up there, our boy. Look how my boy is doing. Seth Owens in the lead in that 3 car. Excuse me. Megatron has made it. I'm gonna have to ask him how he got that nickname. Right behind him is his friend Jared Mahone. In the Ghostbusters theme truck. I don't think there's a drink associated with Ghostbusters, but still a cool scheme nonetheless. Like, everybody loves that movie. If you don't, you probably don't like cars either, and that makes you a domestic terrorist. Trevor?
Uh, don't know about the domestic terrorism charges, but I will say you were correct about Lisa. And Dr. Pepper says that she loves Dr. Pepper, Go Sperling. So maybe you're right. Maybe that is the official drink of Jesse Sperling Racing. I mean, it's unofficial, but hey, maybe there's a partnership right there, and we can see there Jesse Sperling with that beautiful Dr. Pepper scheme. I really like the contrast between the white and the what is that, crimson. Whereas I've seen a lot of stuff where it's actually the other way around. So I really like what he's doing. Or maybe you could even be going for Diet Dr. Pepper kind of thing, because Diet Dr. Pepper is branded in white. But I don't know too much about drinks. I'm mere majority of my classes are business classes, so I wouldn't know too much about graphic design or paints or Dr. Pepper for that matter. But as all I do is slam monsters and try and get all the caffeine out of it. But we do have a 4-way, almost 5-way battle for the lead. We see the top 4 actually side by side with each other. We see that Budweiser from Keith Ayers. We see that
Rainier.
Rainier, caught myself from Jared Mahone. So I mean, hey, it's living up to the name. Living up to the name. So we shall see.
And hey, I am on. Oh, as we get a caution, I'm on Duna Watch, Emil is constantly telling us how he's running in the back. And I'm going to come on the broadcast and say he's a dirty liar because Duna's running in sixth. So good job, Duna, on getting up there toward the front of the pack as we see the 85. 85 got loose. I imagine he had some contact there for the back tailgate to fall off. Looks like he hits the apron a little bit, gets loose. Sperling gets a piece of him. That's net code. So when we talk about net code, that's a very unfortunate part of iRacing at times. Net code, the cars are registering on track with a computer, with a server somewhere, and sometimes iRacing does not get the dimensions of the vehicle right. It's processing a lot of information at once. So when it does, it ends up kind of making the truck bigger than it should be. So you saw him get up into him. Oh, and Ronnie Roberts getting into the wall. Unfortunate. He's one of the part-time guys here. Because of how high his I rating is. But Ronnie Roberts not having the day that he thought was going to go. But a little net code there. 85 got on the apron, got loose. The 29 didn't get into him. But because of the amount of information that iRacing is constantly cycling, it registered the space of the truck wrong, and another driver, as you could see in the replay, got into him without actually getting into him. That is what we call net code here in iRacing. Is what I'm trying to get at. I apologize. A little long-winded. Trevor?
Yeah, that netcode can really ruin some races, but I'll tell you what's not had a ruined race. That is Emil. He's looking strong there. He's on the same tires as the leaders. Came through that pack, battled his way up to the front, and he's representing Coca-Cola very well there. I mean, I could imagine as we come later in this race, I wouldn't imagine him to pit right here, but make a few moves, pit at the right time, get a good pit. I think Emil could definitely do well this race. So definitely keep an eye on that. Somebody else whom is having good race is Seth Owens. He's currently our leader. And he's in a very prime spot to get some points for this race. He's only up 5 from where he started, but that is still a very big thing for him because stage points are everything, can be everything. You want to go ahead and collect them so that you're not in a deficit come later in the season. So definitely could be rocking that strategy, but I'll tell you who's going to contest it. That is Jared Mahone sitting second place. He is our current points leader by a decent margin, so he's got his work cut out for him, because I mean Mahone has shown a lot of aggression, a lot of maturity as well, and a lot of, most importantly, consistency. And then rounding out the top three is Keith Ayers, and Keith Ayers, he's been up there a lot. He's really shown a lot of pace in these races, and so this is definitely going to be a dash to that stage number 2, but could be sizing up for potentially late race situation. But it is green, and Seth Owens, he gets a good little gap, uncontested there going into turn 1, and they are side by side for second place. Keith Ayers appears to have the advantage at the current moment. We'll see if Mahone is able to drive off the corner. You can see the entire pack side by side just about, and Mahone almost clears. He almost gets side by side with Seth Owens for first place here, and Ayers goes to the inside, has the advantage through the front stretch, and almost clears them going into turn one. We'll see if he's able to stretch that gap and slide up. And I do believe he's got second place. Keith Ayers has second place. He was able to get around Mahone. Grigsby, here comes Grigsby as well, in that number 5 monster. Beautiful scheme, by the way. I do believe that that is the new flavor of monster, and I've tried it. Very good monster. Love my caffeine, but he is currently battling with Mahone on equal tires as Mahone, and he's going for it. And I do believe he's cleared Mahone as well. So Grigsby up into third. Very good drive for him. He is up 11 spots from the beginning. And here comes Griffin as well, going for Mahone. Mahone is getting a tough break there on that middle groove. Maybe something happened, maybe not. Maybe just making the best of what he can. But he's moving on back into the pack. And our top 5 is Seth Owens, Keith Ayers, Derek Grigsby, and Chris Griffin and Caleb Sibbett.
Yeah, that's your top 5 with about 5 laps to go. 4.5, I should say. You got Seth Owens, who's got up there to the front, but Keith Ayers is close behind him. But we've seen it all night. Like you can get into the front, but you can't get away. All this racing has been super close when it comes to being in the lead. I see Seth Owens with 24. It says 24 lap old tires. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. I'd have to have somebody verify that. But so I mistook Seth Owens' paint scheme earlier. It is the Ghostbusters themed high C paint scheme, which is very interesting. I didn't know they did a collab like that, but that is what Seth Owens has brought to the table today. So definitely an interesting theme for him. But to the lead with the newest tires, Caleb Sibbett. Caleb Sibbett has made it all the way back up to the front of the pack. He wants those stage points in that stage interview after the pit stops. Caleb Sibbett has not only made it to the front, he has actually pulled away. So it would seem that the tire advantage just insane here at this track. You wouldn't think it looking at the track. Like it looks smooth. It almost looks, you know, like it would be good for tires. But, you know, seeing when somebody with about 15 laps worth of tires of a difference, it means that much. Like look at the lead that he's got now. He's almost got a second up on Seth Owens. Seth Owens hanging tough with the 27 lap old tires. But on the flip side of that, we're going into the third stage. That's the longest stage of the race. Seth Owens is probably going to have more tires than Caleb Sibbett. So, you know, definitely a lot of different strategies here. Obviously, stage points are super important, but you don't want to give up a win for stage points. So it's going to be interesting seeing how this last stage goes once we get to the end. And, 3 wide for second place. Seth Owens still on top, and the caution's out. That's going to bring Caleb Sibbett to win the second stage. What a comeback from Caleb Sibbett. He's been all over the field today. But super good job of just handling that truck, staying out of trouble. That 43 Red Bull machine. Looking good tonight. Not quite as dominant as Bristol, but definitely doing very well for himself tonight. Trevor?
Most definitely is. And actually, somebody that we had our eyes on, Amel, was able to secure some bonus points there. He finished 9th in stage number 2, so he was able to get some championship points there. So he's, I guess, proven himself wrong. So happy to see that. And then our stage number 2 is going to go in order of Caleb Sibbett, Seth Owens, JD Baker, Keith Ayers, Jesse Sperling. We've got some fans in there. Derek Grigsby, another fan. Chris Griffin, fan. James Mandurud, uh, new face there with that beautiful Wrangler scheme. Amel, of course, in ninth, and Jerry McKinney rounding out your top 10.
And we've got pit stops. This is the final stage. This is going to be super important. This and the next one. But Trevor, we've got some comments if you haven't read them already.
Yes, sir. So shout out to Caleb Sibbett, the stage winner, from Tony Sibbett. I do believe that is father. So happy to shout him out. And if you want a driver, shout it out. So maybe you got a family member, maybe you've got somebody you like their paint scheme, or maybe just like the driving that they do. You can shout them out, get them some airtime on this broadcast, as well. If you have any questions, anything of concerns, just send us over a comment and we'll get it addressed. Explain it to you any way you would like. So let us know.
All right, in our stage 1 winner, we're going to bring up Caleb Sibbett real quick. Stage 1 winner Caleb Sibbett, how are you feeling tonight? We saw you go in and get some tires. You had the freshest tires out there. Put quite the hurting on Seth Owens coming out. How do you feel about the tire situation tonight?
Yeah, I got 3 sets. Let me check real quick. I've got 2 sets left, so I saw him blow by me, so I was like, well, I'm gonna try some of that. 8 laps, 9 laps left. I knew I could. High, low. It was pretty good. Feeling good about it.
So what does that make your strategy going into this final stage then with you got 2 sets of tires left? You think that's plenty or you think you're going to need more?
I think Josh is in the best position. My teammate number 17, he has 3 sets left. There's going to be some cautions. It's all going to see how it balances out. We'll see how it goes. Hey, did first place right here? Did he take 2 tires? Do y'all know?
I am not sure. He probably took 2 tires, but we will try to get that information in the broadcast, but I can't bring it up fast enough to bring it to you here. And we can't manipulate the race. We're the broadcasters. If we tell you that, we're giving you unfair
I use
advantage.
all my sources. All my sources.
Well, your dad gave you a shout out. Good luck today. We'll let you get back to it.
Thanks, Dad. See y'all.
As your stage 1 winner, Caleb Sibbett, the 78 truck is your leader.
I didn't want to say it, but I do think he took 2 because he was a bit further on back in going into that pit cycle, but pace truck is off and we are coming back to green for stage number 3. This is the stage for the money. So you're watching it here live on VAN, Veterans and Affiliated Network.
And why don't we do a crank it up real quick? We got the soundboard working correctly, so Michael, go ahead and turn the beautiful engines up. Oh, never mind. We got a caution. Man, just as soon as I try to do something, thought I did something there. We're going to have a throwback. Oh, a couple trucks back in the pack. Carried up until you see Keenan Kimber there. See what happened. Some moving around there off the start. Keenan Kimber thought he was clear, went to come down, tried to stay out of him, and didn't realize that he was already underneath Jared Mahone. Took out the points leader. Ooh, and that's lights out there for Keenan Kimber. After that second hit, they got slid into by the Pepsi truck. Unfortunate turn of events, but, you know, it's very fast-paced here at Van. It's very fast-paced here for the broadcast, and we got a couple more bills to pay. We're going to bring up the bracket that we got going on here. This is going to be the semifinal race. You see Keenan Kimber, Jason D. Baker, Joshua Baker, and Seth Owens. Now, what is on the line is 25 bonus points to whoever wins in this bracket. gives a little bit of a chance to different people to kind of make some points up on that points leader, because this is a full length season. The gap's getting bigger, so this is more important than ever, especially heading into the second half of the season. But as you can see, the top finishers are going to advance from this race to next week at, I believe, Pocono. So, if you guys have some buddies at work and you want to bet on it, hey, gambling addiction, I don't support gambling. I don't support gambling addictions. Your parlay is not going to win. However, if you've been watching us for a while, you know who's good. You know, maybe pay attention to that bracket. I think that's a good idea. Trevor?
I like the life advice on the gambling. I'm not quite old enough to indulge myself in that yet, but I will say that we do have a shout out for Sperling on moving up, and that is from Lisa, which is actually Jesse Sperling's mom. So shout out to Jesse Sperling, and shout out to Lisa for Go Mom.
And shout out to Vickers Auto, because that is their family owned business. They sponsored a race. Um, Jesse, Michael, and I are all working on something special for the Memorial Day race at Charlotte. But appreciate them. They're great people. And if you're in South Carolina, definitely visit Vickers Auto Parts. They'll get you hooked up. Very cool to have mom, and my mom don't watch my races. I was at my races, and she was like, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in anything." I'll just blame it on the broadcasters because we're top notch here. But you know, coming
Hey,
to oh, go ahead, Trevor. Sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say I can completely agree with that. I'm sure that my mom is completely out of it anytime she watches my racing.
Yeah, we're coming to the green. We're gonna do a crank it up this time, and I think if it goes green long enough, we might have a good chance to do a through the field. We're gonna bring you back to the nostalgia of the early 2000s NASCAR, the heyday of NASCAR, because that's what we do here at Veterans Affiliated Network. So off the rip, off the track, and off the chain, we're gonna do a crank it up. And we're back. Caleb Sibbett has taken the lead. The 78 took 2 tires on that stop. He's going to be struggling a little bit, but we're going to see how well those hold up with this long run. And if we can, Michael, why don't we do a through the field of each of these paint schemes? Because I don't want to not give credit to these guys for having all these, You see, we got the 43 of Caleb Sibbett in first in the Red Bull paint scheme. Seen a lot of him today. In second, we have Mr. Baker. He's in the 78 Mountain Dew. Which Mountain Dew is that? God dang it, Bobby. Which Mountain Dew is that? We were trying to figure it out. Ooh, mystery flavor. I've never heard of a mystery flavored Mountain Dew, but I definitely want one now. And he even went to the extent of changing the Craftsman on the window board. That's very cool. Going back to the Seth Owens, number 3, he's got the Ghostbuster High C, as we mentioned before, with his nickname on the side, Megatron. So that is a custom paint scheme. Somebody made that paint scheme for him. Very cool. On to Will. Is that well, the 5-car Derek Grisby has that beautiful monster scheme. The 38 of Keith Ayers has that beautiful Budweiser scheme. And then behind
Now,
him is Chris Griffin with the body armor scheme. Trevor?
Thaddeus, I would like to mention Grigsby. I do believe that is the new flavor of Monster. I've tried it at actually the IndyCar race I went to recently. It is the Lando Norris edition, and it is actually really good. I do. If it's, I'm pretty sure it's the same because it's got the same stripes as what Lando Norris uses. Very interesting. I haven't seen any out in the wild, but very, very good indeed.
Out in the wild. Interesting way to phrase that, Trevor. It's there should be Lando's logo on the tailgate of that truck if we can get a yeah, Energy Smith. Oh, as we have a caution. Man, we were just going through the drinks. We'll come back to Derek Grigsby after we figure out where this caution was. But definitely some cool paint schemes through there.
Speaking of Grigsby, he he was up to fourth from a little further on back, and so old money there in the chat shout him out, and yeah, he's doing good. We were just casually talking about him, and meanwhile he's battling his life out and making it work. So shout out to him.
So this is going to be like detrimental to somebody's race because you're going to come back to green with about 68, 67 laps to go, right? Dang it, I said it.
6-7.
He got me. He got me good, folks. So let's see if we can see what caused it. Just stand by with us, folks. We are trying to figure out where that caution occurred. You know, these guys all racing super close, side by side with each other. I'd imagine it's just a slight mistake. All right, we'll keep working on that. If it comes up, if we can find it, we'll find it. But no, super cool paint scheme with you know, credit to Lando Norris. We'll start back at Grigsby hopefully once this goes green. But like I was saying before, the very interesting point in time to have a caution because you know it doesn't look like anybody took pit, but the thought behind it, like if you pit now, it gives you an advantage for about 30 laps. Then you can pit again, but then you're out of tires if there's green white checkered. So I'm not quite sure what I would do on this, Trevor.
Now I'm double checking. We do have some takers on the pit. I'm sure that a good amount of them. I do believe we had 3 takers. 4. It's still cycling out right now. Probably some damage, but that's going to put them very off strategy from the rest of this field. As you were saying earlier, running out of tires being a possibility. It's definitely digging them in a hole. So very interesting to see that. We will definitely be watching them come through the field potentially.
Yeah, definitely a weird spot to be in. It looks like Sperling, Longworth, and Robinson all came in, but they might have been a part of some of those wrecks. Right now, at for the time being, the front of the pack stays where they're at. But going into this, Trevor, on a restart in these trucks, inside line or outside line?
Me personally, um, I've got to take inside just to make the tires last. But coming to like late race, maybe a green white checkered, I potentially might even want to go for that outside line and try and squeeze them on the bottom and try and get that initial run and get on past the people. I mean, obviously depending on where I am, if I'm in, a little bit further back in the pack, track's wide enough to take it 3 wide, hang it there, hang it out on that outside and pass a few people, very early on. So I mean, it just depends a lot, but I do think the outside line could potentially work in some certain scenarios as they come back to group.
And we are off the rip. Caleb Sibbett back to the point. He's been working his way through the field. We know he's been up there, finally getting that lead back. He had to be a little bit stressed with the 78 taking 2 tires. He said it in the interview, kind of called it. But he's back to the point, but he doesn't have quite like everybody up until what is it, about eighth, has the same tires, so he doesn't have the tire advantage that he does. So we'll see if he can get that big lead, like that almost second lead that he had before on this run, and if his truck is that strong, or if the tire advantage was what got him there.
I'll tell you, Grigsby, he's looking like he's getting after it. He's advanced up to top 3. He's keeping Seth Owens at bay. I'm gonna be watching him for the rest of this race. He potentially could have something here if he keeps on keeping at it, because he's been moving up a whole bunch. We'll have to check his long run speed as the laps tick on.
Yeah, he's definitely been fast today. We've got but we were going through the field, so let's start back at Amel. We got to Grigsby. Grigsby's gotten up here, but I think we should start back at Amel. He's got that beautiful Coca-Cola paint scheme that we were talking about earlier. Um, you know, super cool. He does a lot of Tony Stewart throwbacks. Tony Stewart being his favorite driver while he was watching NASCAR. Oh, we got a big wreck in the back. That was a hard hit. Man, maybe I shouldn't talk about the paint schemes. It seems like every time I mention the paint schemes, somebody's getting bodied somewhere. So that's very unfortunate. I apologize if that's a commentator's curse.
What was it that I said the other week? I didn't used to believe in the commentator's curse until I started commentating.
Ooh,
Oh, man.
Steve Whitmore's seen better days. Jesse Sperling as well, a fan favorite, got caught up in it. It looks like Sperling got a little high, lost a lot of speed. Rodney Roberts put him 3 wide. Let's see where we get from here. Oh, Rodney Roberts just came up just a little bit. Sperling trying to avoid, gets in the 18, and then gets into Steve Whitmore, and away she goes.
And I've got to say, I do hope that they've hung on to their fast repair. Now, in this league, you do get one fast repair that uh, immediately, as soon as you come into your pit box, a little bit unrealistic, but come into your pit box and it instantly fixes your truck as if it was the beginning of the race. So they do have fast repairs. Let's hope that those drivers involved hadn't used them up yet.
Yeah, and while you're talking about the fast repairs, the 43 broke some ankles on that one. He faked like he was going in, and that brought some takers, and then just went straight to the right. So, that might be, if he wins this race, that might be the move of the race, saving some extra tires for the end of it. But definitely had a couple guys fooled. Almost almost brought a lot of them until a few of them saw that he was staying out. But a few of the guys in pit row, some more of the guys in the back kind of taking tires. That's not a bad strategy at all. Kind of get crack position, especially with how strong tires have been. As the laps are winding down, you've got Caleb Sibbett, who's been strong since Bristol. He's made his way back up to the top spot. Top spot. He qualified on pole. He's been super strong all night. You got Derek Grigsby, who's kind of a surprise to me. Um, Not that he hasn't been bad. He's coming off of momentum too, because as you remember, Trevor, last week at Bristol, he was up there. Um, then you got Keith Ayers, and then the newcomer Sonadara. So definitely a shakeup in the top five. It's going to be interesting to see. As you can see, the Black Rifle. I'm going to try to go through this under caution, so I don't curse anybody else. But Black Rifle Coffee Company on Mickey Sonadara on his truck. Big fan of Black Rifle. Their coffee is really good. And as always, we're going to support a veteran-owned business. Keenan Kimber with the Kool-Aid truck. He's broken some walls down today, so I think that's pretty accurate. You got Ronnie Roberts. Um, as I said, part-time. He's gonna run the Mopar. You got the 42 of Aaron Longworth in that Celsius truck. Joshua Robinson as well, not running a paint scheme this week for it, but still a cool Hendrick Cars paint scheme that's got on there. Matt Casbaro running his regular paint scheme. The 25 of James Mandarud, cool Wrangler paint scheme, inverse colors with the mellow yellow. That's a little bit of a throwback. And a little bit. Ooh, Keenan Kimber had a malfunction, I imagine, with his computer. You don't see guys just rolling to the wall on caution that often. Um,
Commentator's curse right there.
I can't talk about anything. I'm just gonna shut up for the rest of the commentating, man. All these guys are just having trouble every time I mention them. Jerry McKinney in his usual paint scheme in the 18. And Justin Walters, we kind of mentioned him earlier with the Pepsi paint scheme with that Dodge Ram logo on the side. I wonder if that's a real life paint scheme. I would have to look into that. But cool paint scheme nonetheless. So everybody running their favorite drinks should be accounted for. Very, very cool paint schemes tonight, guys. Oh, we did get the 24 earlier with the Yuling paint scheme, but we'll go back to him just so nobody feels left out. The 24 of Christopher Hockley and that Yuling paint scheme. Mentioned it earlier. I like the color chrome on it. I wonder if he's a Jeff Gordon fan running that number. If he was ever a Jeff Gordon fan, or if he's a William Byron fan. But cool paint scheme as we're going back to green. Caleb Sibbett's going to lead him off with Derek Grigsby on the outside. Caleb Sibbett's going to get a huge jump. He's going to jump up there in front of Derek Grigsby. We've got cars all over the track. It is a hornet's nest back there. One wrong move and they are around. Everybody keeps it clean out of the first turn. That's a good sign. But I don't expect this racing to get any less dicey as the laps start winding down, Trevor.
I was just thinking about it. It seems that the more we go into the race, the more aggressive people are getting. Maybe they're noticing the laps are starting to tick down a little bit. It's not too close to the end, but the end is definitely in sight with it being stage number 3. So I wonder if some people are maybe pushing a little bit further, or it could just be a attrition based thing because they've been racing side by side for so long that mistakes are going to happen sooner or later. So we've seen a lot of things being shaken up here in this last stage, and it's very interesting to watch. Is actually the Black Rifle truck, uh, trying to get the name pronunciation right,
Mickey
Sin
Sanadara.
Sanadara. I saw him get involved in an accident earlier on, and he's actually up into the top 3 now. So interesting watching that. We've seen some people coming through the field that have a tire advantage, namely Amol Duna, who actually got a shout out earlier under caution by Jennifer, it appears. So go number 14. And we're seeing a lot of people working through this field, a lot of side by side, very very tight racing indeed. That is.
So what I think is interesting is like even if you have the tire advantage, do you think that because I know what I would do. I would try to save tire on the bottom. Um, I'm very big on making sure that I take care of my tires because if you take care of the tires, you take care of the truck. We've had a lot of cautions. Do you think that now with fresh tires, you're ripping the wall to try to gain as many positions as possible, or do you think you're trying to save tire just in case there is a long run?
Honestly, with the tire advantage, I mean, almost either way. I mean, obviously, you still have to, this is a very competitive league. There's a lot of talent here. So, obviously, you do have to have talent and use up the truck a little bit. But honestly, with the tire advantage being so prominent here, as we've seen earlier tonight, I would honestly probably stick to the bottom, just let the front come to me as far as tire wear, and then have it on the back end and just kind of take positions as they come to me, so that I'm not burning out my tires, and there at the end of the run I'll have that much better tires than everyone else.
Yeah, speaking of fresh tires, Rodney Roberts has the freshest, and he's up to third, pushing for second. Trevor, very honest, uh, you know, idea of what to do with the car. Very honest. The 9 car all the way up. Now, the 9 car is running a part time. I keep mentioning that he's running a part time series. iRacing has what is called your I rating, and your I rating is what it bases your skill level on. The I rating cap for this league is 3,000. And we talked to him earlier this season. He had just reached 3,000 I rating at right after the first race, after he won the Daytona 500. So he is up there running in the front, running at a higher skill level, but he's just in it for the win. He's not in it for points. So those stages meant nothing to him. So now he's really showing what he's got. He's gotten out of the muck and the mire in the back. He's used his fast repair to get his truck back up to speed after that gnarly wreck earlier. And he's challenging Caleb Sibbett for the lead. So what do you think about having a part timer in there, kind of pushing for the win, Trevor?
I think it definitely throws the league a curveball. I mean, obviously, there's a reason why he's a part timer, as you've said before. So, honestly, I feel like the keeps him honest and, throws in that competition aspect to it to give the opportunity to learn and get better because, you run around the people that's below your skill level all day. And if anything, it's probably going to enable you to have bad muscle memory on stuff and actually stagnate or get a little bit worse. But if you're actively battling with people that's above your skill level, and then you're going to learn stuff from them. And so I do like this opportunity to bring in those good guys as well and really show what can be done on iRacing. So I always enjoy watching, really fast guys come through the field, and that's what Rodney Roberts has been able to do. And as I was sitting here yapping, he actually took the lead and is driving away right now. So
Yeah,
good
and
for him.
he does have the fresher tires though, so I wonder if the skill gap shows now that he has fresh tires and he has clean air, or if it kind of, you know, flips and has him at a disadvantage because he's down a set of tires. But I don't know if he how many tires he's taken so far. So he could still have a couple left. I always like to keep one of the chambers. We have a caution, and this time it's not Rodney Roberts. I was talking about him. He didn't wreck. So commentator's curse is broken now. We're gonna try to bring it up. Looks like either the 46 or the 70. The 13 also trailing. So we'll have to see what happened. Yeah, it looks like the 46 definitely involved, running a little bit slower than everybody else. And while we're trying to bring it up, just a reminder, we are a soon to be nonprofit. We need producers. So if you're a veteran that's interested in learning how to produce these videos, we would be very interested in talking to you. That's right, you at home watching. You served your country. Now let us serve you. We can help you with racecraft. We can help you with broadcasting. We can help you with paints. Anything you want. All you got to do is reach out to us at veterans and affiliated network at gmail.com. Felt exactly, well, for us Marines, if you need to look up the spelling, we're not going to judge you. But shoot us a message if you're interested. We'll definitely sit down with you. We'll show you the ropes of how to broadcast and produce, commentate, anything that you want. We're always interested in adding people to the team. We've turned away broadcasts because of our schedules, and we would like to expand. So definitely reach out to us there. But now that we are under caution, it looks like Seth Owens is going to inherit the lead after staying out. He's got he's pitted 16 laps ago, and now everybody fifth on back has got new tires. So that's kind of a bold move. But at the same time, if there's another caution between now and the end of the race, not a bad move because now you have an extra set of tires. So I don't know. What would you do in this position, driver?
Personally, I would probably want to pit. Uh, I mean, I typically don't like banking on cautions all too much, but I mean, when it lines up very well. So, I would probably want to pit here and have a good set to run to the end. We've seen a lot of green flag here, and here in the third stage, there has been quite a few cautions. The majority of their cautions in this race has actually been in stage number 3. So maybe that is actually the call, but it's up to the interpretation of the driver in themselves. And so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, so here's my sticking position on it. You've only got back to fourth before those new tires start coming on you. I've said it before. I know I said it earlier in the race. About 15 laps is where the differential in tire comes in, and they are 17 laps or 16 laps more wear on their tires than the rest of the field. I would imagine that the rest of the field is kind of going to swallow them up. And while this has been a little bit more of a caution-prone race due to the close racing, I'm not sure if another caution will come out. It depends on how bad these guys want it, how much they push. But the skill level is definitely there to keep it caution-free. So I don't know. That's definitely a risky call. But he's got track position. He's led a lap, so he's got points for that. I'd imagine Duna wants a point for that. He's up to second place. And Derek Grigsby, he jumps into pit row. That's an interesting call. They extended the caution, possibly has damage, trying to get that fixed up before we go green. See the pace lights off on the truck. That means there's one lap to go. That is a universal sign across racing that the next lap we are going to be green flag. But definitely a good show tonight. Like there's been so many different strategies that are playing out. It's hard to keep up. But luckily we have a great producer in the back. We've got Trevor, who's very technical with everything, so we'll be on top of it for you. But as you can see, they have 16 lap older tires than the rest of the field. That is going to play into this. However, does it play into it in the chance that these guys have taken all their tires and think they can run it the next 40 laps, or does it play into it that the guys at the front, don't really have an opportunity to get on fresher tires than they're at? So we're going to have to find, that's going to be something that we're going to find out very quickly with us coming to green. Trevor, take it away.
Yes, sir. My favorite part, and we are in the restart box, and she is green. Green, green, green. Joshua Robinson, not Joshua Robinson, Seth Owens, pardon me, taking it to green. And he drives fairly uncontested there, as he has a couple car length gap to second place, who is actually in a two-way battle with second place Emil Duna going for it. He's Emil up there on the top. Here comes Rodney though. He's trying to get in the mix. Almost, I do believe that's 3 wide for second place. Emil there in the middle. Oh, he gets into Jerry McKinney there on bottom. They keep it straight. Emil loses the run, falls on back a little bit, but here comes Rodney, who was untouched there. Free shot at Seth Owens, and he takes that bottom, and let's see if he can make it stick. Definitely gets a good run in there, does that little slider line, slides up in front of Seth, and your new leader, Rodney Roberts, once again, and he is fairly uncontested there. We see Joshua Robinson battling for third with Jerry McKinney, Aaron Longworth behind him. I do believe he is. Oh no, Joshua Robinson coming. He actually pitted this last time by with Rodney Roberts, so the people that didn't pit, they stayed out banking on a late caution. They are cycling back into the pack. I do believe Emil has fallen to ninth already, so falling fairly quickly, but that is to be expected. That is just them feeding into their strategy as we see him trying to hang on to 10th place right there. And we see more battling ahead with Jerry McKinney there taking that high groove, fighting, I do believe that is Caleb Sibbett there in the Red Bull scheme.
Yep.
A little bit hard to keep up with the paint schemes given the race, but here comes McKinney Senadara.
You got it.
Black Rifle. Okay. Black Rifle scheme moving up to fifth with I do believe that is a newcomer for the league. Happy to see him here. And Joshua Robinson still fighting it out for first place, actually, trying to make a move on Rodney, who's taking that middle groove, coming to the backstretch. He gets a slight advantage there. And so he should be able to, there he goes, slot into that bottom groove, throw a little air, and as you can notice, actually, he threw the air on him, and he immediately slid up the track by a lane and put some clean air on the front bumper of that truck so that it has more downforce. And almost contact with Keith Ayers there in that 38 truck, that beautiful Budweiser scheme. But they're still battling, Thaddeus.
Yeah, and this is what I was interested in seeing. One, like we were saying before the beginning of the race, or sorry, before the beginning of the restart, the not getting tires, you're gonna drop super fast, especially with the way this race has been going, with how detrimental tires have been to the drivers. And then two, earlier I was talking about Ronnie Roberts, and it looks like he does have some Achilles heels in his driving, but you know, with Joshua Robinson able to get to the side of him, there is hope that they can kind of catch him. But as he as I say that, he starts putting a lead on these guys, but now they're all on even tires, so it's a lot more competitive than it was when he had those fresher tires. So that's interesting to see as well. Like these guys can hold a candle to him well enough to give him a run for his money. Um, but now we're in this position. All the guys that stayed out, they've dropped. Seth Owens was in first. He's in 11th. Duna in 12th, and he started second. So the call to stay out, the 15 laps, I think is definitely the limit of what you can do as a driver, because no matter how much what your skill level is, those tires are vital to maintaining track position, which is so important here with the way the dirty air is. Like that was a great view earlier of from the rear chase, seeing the 17 truck get tight as soon as Ronnie Roberts put some air on his nose. When you're coming out of the turn, as soon as a truck comes down, it kind of has the opposite of that draft effect, right? Like it pushes air onto the nose of the car behind it, and it makes the grip level of the truck behind it for the front tires go down, which causes the truck to push. The truck will push to the outside of the track, which causes that effect of them getting tight. They have to take the exit of the turn slower, and you get a huge advantage from that. So clean air definitely a factor. Not as good of a factor here as at other tracks, because these guys are definitely keeping pace, but it's a factor enough to just keep that car behind you. You don't have to win the race by 8 miles. You don't have to lap the field. You just have to keep the car that is in the position behind you there. And that might be a key to winning this race, is just keeping that dirty air on the nose of the truck behind you, not having to run away with it. It's stressful for the driver for sure. Like you, as a driver, if you see 0.1 seconds behind you, that's scary. That means that guy is right there on your bumper. But if you're at a track like this, like a mile and a half, that's wide, it's got sweeping banks, that's all the time you need. You want them maybe not closer than that, because they can push up air on your back bumper and kind of get you loose. But if they're just there enough to where you can use your car as a tool to affect them, perfect. That is exactly where you want them. He has second place exactly where he wants them right now. Joshua Robinson is having to play both offense and defense at the same time, because Keith Ayers is right there trying to press for the position, and he's trying to get up there past Rodney Roberts. So, that's it. It's kind of an ideal, and is a very skillful form of racing here at Kansas Motor Speedway tonight. Ever?
And one thing I will add, one of the reasons why it's very hard to pull away from the pack is still talking about the dirty air, or well, that's actually what it's called whenever you get air thrown on you in the corner and it causes you to push. It's called dirty air. But that same dirty air is what allows the pack to sort of stay bunched up to the leader, because he's throwing that dirty air in a straight line and it causes them to suck up to him. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword that Rodney has to balance as well. They're catching up to him on the straightaway, but they're losing in the corners because of the same thing. So there's a lot of strategy involved in intermediate tracks like this, where dirty air is a big factor in a straight line as well as the corners. And we can see 3 wide, Caleb Sibbett on bottom, and he's trying. Looks like the Black Rifle Longworth
The 42 of Longworth
gets the
is going to get
42
by him.
of Longworth gets by him. Mickey gets that as well.
Yeah, Mickey. We will get your name, I promise, Mr. Sanadara. Race with us more. We will get it. I promise that we try to get everybody's names right. You can just ask the league owner, Emil. Uh, we called him Emil for the first 3 weeks. He will never let us live it down, but we love him. But yeah, Aaron Longworth in the 42 and Caleb Sibbett in the 43 going back and forth a lot right now. You know, Caleb Sibbett is probably heated because he had the dominant car at the beginning of the race, and now he's mired back in traffic. Meanwhile, Rodney Roberts still leading the race, but you know, none of these positions have really changed hands. It seems like as the track's gotten cooler, it's gotten harder to pass. Everybody has a lot more grip. Now, if I was them, what I would do is I would probably run the bottom as long as I could get position there. You know, try to pass as many cars as I can on the bottom. As long as nobody was slowing me up, not really push the issue. And then when we get down to like 15 laps to go, I would start looking everywhere there was a car and go where they're not. If you go where they're not, then you don't have that draft effect. If they're not paying enough attention to the rear view mirror and putting air on you, go where they're not. If you know they're gonna watch them for a few minutes, you know if they're gonna take the bottom, go high. They take the bottom, go low, and kind of use that to your advantage. And maybe you know like if once you start getting into those drivers that really do mirror drive and really do use that aero blocking, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fake low and go high, or fake high and go low. It's 180 mile per hour chess is what they're playing right now. These laps are winding down. You got guys that need to get closer to pass. You've got guys that need to make up track position if they want to win this race. Go time I think would be in the next 5 laps for me personally. Like tires be damned. That is when I would start making moves because you know you got to think about it. Do you want to have the freshest tires at the end of the race, or do you want to gain those positions? That's the balancing act that they're playing right now. Trevor?
Now, one thing that I'm bringing back into attention, the laps are starting to wind down. We've got about 20 laps left in this race, if my math is correct, which I'm known for it being wrong, but we're about 20 laps left in this race. Now, what about those guys that stayed out at that last caution? You know, maybe they can make it on fuel, but maybe not. Sure, fuel could come into the equation, but when would a good lap be for a caution to put them on the best tires? And I do think right now would be the time for a caution for them. And unlucky for them, we're seeing it's gotten really spread out here. Not as much battling. We did see Steve Whitmore get into the wall just slightly there. There is some battling up in the top four, though, I do believe, as we see some side-by-side racing there. But apart from that, a lot of the pack is really spread out. So definitely playing to the disadvantage for now, but all it takes is one tiny slip up. Especially as the tires wear, a tiny little slip up here and there, uh, that could lead to massive caution and put them right within their strategy. And then from there it's go time. And, we've seen people come up through the pack in just a matter of a couple of laps. So I do believe that it can be done very easily, even if there's only about 10 laps left, can still be done very easily. Or very easily could happen. I'm not saying that would be easy, because actually it'd be very hard passing every car in the field, but we'll see how that plays out as far as the cautions.
Well, we know one driver who's done that, and that's Caleb Sibbett, and he's currently running third. He's made swaths of gains in the past few laps. I'd imagine he is doing exactly what we were talking about earlier, was saving tire, waiting for the right time to start moving up through the field. And you know, I think it's perfectly timed for him because he still does have about coming to 17 laps to go. So he's got a little bit of time to make up the rest of the time to the lead. He's running third. He's about to try to grab second. He's saved the tires up until now. Now is where I would start moving around though, because you have Rodney Roberts who has an I rating that's over what the limit is. You've got Joshua Robinson who's been super strong in the back half of this race. Throughout the race, but the back half of this race especially, he challenged Rodney Roberts earlier for the lead. You have got to start moving because even though it doesn't look like they're far away, as you can see, like he's right behind second place, kind of working on second place, and the leader's right there in front of them. You still have to pass these guys. That's been the hardest part all night is trying to get past the truck, and he did it pretty easily earlier. Um, but it might be that the the people that he passed in the field either were on older tires or were having difficulty saving tires. And now with the laps winding down under 20, like under what is it down to now? Under about 15 laps to go. Like you have to start making moves if you want that top spot. He's doing good when it comes to as many positions as he's made up, but if he wants the win, now would be the time to start using that top lane, I believe. But that's going to be up to him to decide. For a lot of drivers, the top lane doesn't agree with their driving style. Some guys can't drive up there because they get nervous around the wall, or the wall sucks them in because of how high they think they have to go. And other guys can rip the wall the entire race. But you know, now that tires aren't really the issue anymore, you have to find a way around these cars. Trevor?
Most definitely. And one thing that, oh, as you see, actually a little bit of bump drafting there from
Yeah, Derek
Grigsby
Rigby.
helping Chris Griffin uh, actually trying to catch up to those cars ahead. But one thing that is very easy to do here at a track like this is lose the draft. So one of the things I keep in my mind, if you're not moving forward, then you're going backwards. And so now that we're getting down to a crucial part of the race, if you don't start moving forward, it is very easy to move backwards, and then you don't have the draft, and then cars behind you that are in a two-car tandem, as we've just seen, are catching up to you. And so there's a whole plethora of things. And I mean, when they say it's down to crunch time, this is why they mean it, is because this is oftentimes the most hard part of the race, uh, as we are actually coming to 10 to go.
Yeah, for a moment there, Caleb Sibbett was racing the leader, but now he's fallen back. Maybe he's gotten some tire wear. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't wait on. You can save tires only for so long. You have to use them. Like we talked about it earlier when we started the race. You said like, oh, like I would want to move through the pack or maybe save some for the end. Like it's either or. Um, we're at the end. It was clear that he was saving it for the end, so he's got to start pushing. He's got to find the line that works for him to get up to the back bumper of that 9 truck. As you see Joshua Robinson kind of close distance to Caleb Sibbett. So, now he's got to look ahead and try to drive away from the 17 car while also trying to figure out what line works best for catching the truck in front of him. Like being in between two, like being in the second place has got to be the most frustrating place on the track because you can see the lead right there, but you can also see falling back if you use too much tire up. Now, right now, all of the leaders are on 30, at least 38 lap old tires. You have Keith Ayers who had to pit, but he's a lap down, and he's got fresher tires. He's on 12, and he's in 12th. But those guys that stayed out, they're going in. They're going into pit and they're going a lap down. So they have the fuel and they have the tires to make it, but now they have to race past these guys and get their laps back. As you can see, Duna, one of the guys that stayed out, he's 2 laps down. So now he needs to catch that leader. It's not an option anymore. If you want to save your race and stay in it, we've only got 7, 8 laps to go. 7, 8. I said 7, 8.
Uh-huh.
Not the other one.
Well, see, the fact that it occupies your mind is reward enough to me. But what's going to be a big reward is Amel, if he's able to get his lap back. You see him, he's on the tailgate right there of Rodney, and he's taking that high groove. I think he's going to get his lap back. Now, what he needs is a caution, and then let that run out. He's got the fresh tires, and then another caution for green white checkered, potentially, if he's not able to move up to the first lap down car. And so he's definitely got an uphill battle for him. Amel does, but hey, I've seen crazier comebacks, so anything is possible.
So
And
I
we've
think
seen some pretty crazy comebacks here as well.
I think that. Ooh, did you see the 17 car getting to Sonadara? Sonadara moving up, back up to third. I think he only needs one caution. If he gets one, I don't imagine anybody on the lead lap, which is first through 10th, or sorry, first through 12th. All those guys are on the lead lap are on 40 lap old tires, and all the way up to 13th now. So if you're on that lead lap, sorry, yeah, up to 12th, as you were. So if you're on the lead lap, you're on 40 lap old tires. If one person goes into pits, they've got you. Like the tire advantage is too fast. It's too big a risk to not come in. So all those cars coming in is going to cause all those lap cars to have the wave around, and they're not going to be on as fresh tires. Like I said, that cusp is about 15 laps, and they're on 14 lap older tires as of now. But we're coming to 3 laps to go. I don't think it's going to be a factor. Rodney Roberts has stretched his lead out to a second, almost 2, and he's pulling away from Caleb Sibbett. Now, right now, Caleb. Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
I said that is something very hard to do at this track. It really shows a lot of maturity in their driving, and that they're doing the same thing every single lap, and that same thing is the correct thing. I mean, you can go out there and run the same lap over and over and over again, but if that lap isn't very good on your tires, it's gonna show right now. And so we're seeing, Rodney, he wasn't in as many battles I didn't see, but we're seeing the people behind him, they were involved in more battles than him, and so that heated up their tires. And then on top of that, he's been able to save tires through his driving as well. So we're really letting that show, as we actually just saw somebody get into the wall, but we are on the white flag lap. This is for all the money. Let's see if Rodney can get it done here on the backstretch, going to actually lap somebody right there in his final lap.
Absolutely no mercy from Rodney Roberts on that one. Last lap pass for another lap. And tonight is your winner is going to be the part-timer Rodney Roberts in the 9 truck. Second place, I believe, is going to be Caleb Sibbett, with third place being Mickey Sonadara. We're going to have to ask him how to pronounce his name, but great showing for his first race. But tonight, the man who brings home the glory is Rodney Roberts. We're gonna let him do some celebrating, and we're gonna have to ask you guys to give us a moment so we can get all these guys in the waiting room so we can start doing our interviews. But tonight, Rodney Roberts, your winner. Trevor, what's your analysis of this race? Like, run it by me real quick. Run the numbers. What do you think
So
was the factor for this win?
I'm not good with numbers. That's why I dropped out of engineering. But I do think that what really showed was the maturity in the driving. He was able to keep the tires on his truck very well. Obviously, he was staying out of dirty air a lot, which was a huge factor in the, you if you're in dirty air, you're wearing your tires because you're having to make the truck work more. Well, he stayed out of it. He had clean, fresh air on that nose for a good majority of this race, and so that combined with good tire strategy, pitted at the right times to put himself there at the end. So I mean that just all combination of all the factors really showed. So very good seeing how that played out for him.
Well, let's talk to our third place driver. That's going to be Mickey Sanadara. We're going to bring him into the booth real quick. Mickey Sanadara, am I pronouncing that right? Oh, he's got his mic muted.
Oh,
Mickey, are you
Sundara.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sundara, man, I am so sorry. We've been butchering your name all right. You're a newcomer to the league, but great showing. For first race, how are you feeling? How did you feel out there tonight with the race going the way it did?
It went pretty good. I got caught up in some wrecks pretty early on. I don't think I got third though because I did have a drive-through penalty towards the end. So I
Oh,
think that
really?
kind of ruined my race.
Oh, it does spot you at 14th. You were third across the line, but yeah, that penalty might do it. So we're gonna have to re-rack the numbers real quick. But well, welcome to the HPRL League. We'll do this as a little bit extra, but um, great showing out there tonight. All right, man.
Thank you guys.
You keep after it, and hope you have better luck. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So that's gonna bring us to our third place finisher, Derek Grigsby. So let's see if we can find Derek real quick. Derek Grigsby, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So at the end, we were under the impression that Mickey had gotten the third place finish, but he actually got a black flag. So you are our third place finisher tonight. How did you feel about that race tonight? Definitely a strong momentum race after Bristol. It seems like you're trending positive. So what were your thoughts, and what do you think got you there?
Yeah, that threw us off at the end there. We were trying to figure out how I ended up in third, but no, it was a good race. I knew I was good on the long run, so when it got going there at the end, I had 1 lap extra fuel, so I knew I could push it and got on that high line the last 15 laps or so and let it roll.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that in the booth too. Like coming toward the end, when you have the high line, you know, at that point you have to start pushing somewhere. And most of the clean air being up top, everybody trying to save tire. What was your like? I know you said you got into a couple of wrecks, but how was the tire wear tonight in this race?
It was pretty bad. The dirty air kind of made it worse, but you could definitely tell the tires were wearing out. And then when you got behind somebody, it just turned into a freight train. It pushed you straight up the track.
Yeah, we got a couple of good shots of that exact effect going on. Trevor, do you have any questions for your third place finisher tonight?
Hey Derek. First I gotta say congratulations. I know you must be happy. You've got some supporters from the chat that's been shouting you out all race. So my question stems from a moment in which we were actually looking at your paint. I believe that's your Lando Norris monster flavored or Lando Norris flavored monster livery, which by the way, very good looking truck indeed. But we were watching you, and I do believe you were in fourth place, and you were in a three-way battle for fourth place, and y'all just kept on going for laps and laps and laps. How was it passing people, and how was it keeping that position throughout this race?
Passing people was super frustrating. It was just you couldn't keep the momentum rolling, and uh, if you went down to the low side, they had the momentum on the high side getting off, so you couldn't pass them there. And then if you tried to get on the outside, somebody dove under you, and it was a nightmare. That's why I was glad it got to the end and stretched out to where we could all pick our line and actually race each other. That was a lot more fun.
Yeah. Also, we had mentioned it because you could see the different drivers trying to get past each other, and it. I was saying how it could be how frustrating it could be with you have all this space, but no matter where you go, it seems like you just get drugged back when you're side by side with a car. But you did an excellent job tonight. You got P3, uh, albeit by a little bit of a surprise, but you still got it done. Got a top three. As always, man, the floor is yours for any sponsor or family shout outs. Go ahead.
I just my teammate and his Energy Smith Low Country, and then we always try to support Old Money Cards. It's a guy that's been around me since we were kids, and always try to support him. So that's your premier place to go if you're looking for any autograph, numbered, just regular, especially NASCAR cards. But he has I think basketball and football too. So anybody looking for those, look him up on his eBay store at Old Money Cards.
Excellent. And we appreciate him. We give him the shout outs and the attention he definitely deserves. All right, Derek, I'm going to send you back and I'm going to bring up our second place driver. So thank you for staying here for the interview.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thanks everybody that put this on tonight.
No problem. All right, our second place driver, Caleb Sibbett, still on a roll, but I know that second place wasn't what you were looking for. How'd you feel in that last run, Caleb?
Yeah, no, I just didn't have enough for him, and then the guys that had to go pit because we of course pitted late, so we were able to save on the fuel. Put me in a bad spot where I couldn't ever get up to the 9, but overall pretty good day. Pole, I don't know if I led the most laps. I think I did. Yeah, good points day, good stage points.
Yeah, most definitely. Those stage points super important. Still a strong run. I mean, so Rodney Roberts, he's a part-time guy. He's in it for the win. Um, but kind of a heartbreak to have a win taken away from you, but still a super impressive run. You came through the field, you were back and forth all night, but at the end of the day, I would that's something you can hang your hat on. Um,
Yeah,
re-
and I like to
but
add too, just going off the Rodney point, it's just like these Cup guys going down to smaller series sometimes. They don't have to be aggressive in the stages. They don't have to stay up in front. They can just lag back, save their stuff, not get in trouble, and then they race it all out. Which I will say, if I would have got to that 9, probably would have given him a little bumper there. He put my teammate tonight, the 29, in a bad position. I didn't think too kindly of that, but regardless, though, if we could have just had a little bit more there at the end, I definitely would have had something for him.
yeah, a little bit of a rivalry brewing there. We're gonna have to cover that the next time. Next time he chooses to join a race, and definitely keep an eye on you guys. But Trevor, do you have any questions for your second place finisher tonight?
I think that slightly answered my question. My question was going to surround kind of the middle of that run. You were sitting in second, or middle to late of that run. You were sitting in second. There was a little gap behind you and Rodney, And I was just gonna say, how hard was it to keep up while you could? And what kind of talk us through that stage of the race, the battles you were facing, I would say.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, we've been talking all night, it seems like, of course, the pole and then the stage. But yeah, I told y'all, and I wasn't over exaggerating. It's so hard to pass here once you get behind a truck and they get that draft. So I was trying a little different line. Honestly, it probably ate up my tires a little bit more, but I still was able to turn that bottom a little bit more coming off. I just, like I said, those guys that just got tires and pitted because they had to get fuel were so much faster. Got in some bad corners where I had to go high, and I just didn't have anything for it at the end. But we'll get them next week, and honestly, at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the second. I think I probably came with the most points as well, so happy about that for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And we'll have an updated points scoring. I forgot the graphic this week, but next week we'll have an updated graphic so you guys know where you stand outside of Sim Racer Hub. Finally, second place, you earned your spot. Shout outs to sponsors and family members. Anybody you want to shout out, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, new sponsor tonight for the Soda Wars, Red Bull. Yeah, really fast Toyota. Nobody's joined yet. I don't know. I mean, there's clearly speed in these Toyotas. I just gotta get it down there at the end. Thanks to Mill. I always forget to shout him out, but he does a heck of a job hosting these things and getting it all together. This is one of the funnest leads, most competitive. Y'all can tell. I mean, some of that stuff that I was in tonight, where we were going 3, 4 wide. Uh, 3 or 4 back. I mean, it had to have been exciting to watch on that side, but also, my family, dad always watches and stuff like that. It's not the real thing, but it's all I could do. I never had the money to race a real car, so this is what we got, Dad. But yeah, had a good time, and thank y'all for hosting as well.
Yeah, no problem, man. And appreciate looking at watching you guys race. Made a lot of comments on how good the racing was. So impressive. Looking to see you keep up that momentum next week.
Thanks, guys.
And finally tonight, part-time racer, full-time winner at Kansas, Rodney Roberts. How are you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all?
No, we're great. That was some great racing out there. You definitely made it interesting there at the end, and kind of put a whooping on the field at the last bit of that race. We were just talking to Caleb Civic. Caleb said you got into the 29. You want to walk us through what happened there?
Had a big run coming out of four, hit the apron, put him three wide, and felt like I hugged the bottom pretty good, but they said I drifted up just a tad bit, and like I ain't trying to wreck no one, so if it was on me, I'd apologize. I ain't even looked at the replay or nothing like that, but I hate to, it ruined one of their race, and but I do apologize for that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that that is entirely unreasonable to ask. I know I've been in races where I've gotten into people on accident, and you can ask forgiveness and just hope that they kind of accept it for what it is. But fast all night. Now, like I said, part-time driver tonight, winner chicken dinner for you. Uh, so what was your strategy coming into this, knowing that you weren't fighting for stage points, you weren't fighting for points in the race? Like, what was your strategy to get up to the front at the end?
Uh, Mostly I just came out here just to have fun and run with this awesome league, and but my strategy was just hoping I get new tires before anyone else and try to get out in front before anyone else because it's really hard to pass in
Mhm.
dirty air, and couldn't really get the top going. Every now and then you could, but it's just so hard to pass. You really want to be in that good clean air and just dirty air block the people behind you.
Yeah, a lot of aero being put into effect here tonight. We were talking about that during the broadcast as well. I won't go too far into it. I won't ask you a question about it because I don't want to keep you here too long. But with we were talking about how getting behind a car would just tighten up your truck and just head straight to the wall. But that's a conversation we can probably have at another time because I'm sure that's not going to be the last time we see it this season. Trevor, do you got a question for our winner tonight?
Yes, sir, I do. Rodney, got a question for you. So you're a part-time driver, and that's due to the I rating that you have, and that's very respectable. I mean, you've obviously got something good going on there. And I was gonna say, what's kind of the biggest struggle with being a part-time driver? Only making a few appearances. I mean, I'm sure it gives you an advantage in that you just have to practice for that race. But what are kind of the unexpected struggles that come along with being a part-time driver?
It's just, it's being a part time. I can't run fully for the points and for the championship, and that just like, it bothers me that I can't run for it because I would absolutely would love to, but it's just hard, and because you don't know one week from week you might race or you might not.
Yeah, I know that's kind of not, I don't want to say devastating, but it sucks when you find a good league and then they have a cap and you just break that cap. I know you were looking real forward to racing in this league, but we were absolutely thrilled to have you tonight. Once I saw your car, I was like, oh, we're cool. Rodney's back. Let's see what he can do tonight. So you definitely put on a good show. You won the race. You know, take the positives away from it, and I'm 100% sure that we will see you again here in the league. Um, and as always, man, it is your floor to give shout outs to sponsors and family members. Uh, every time, joy to have you. Go ahead, sir.
And I appreciate being here and being with all of y'all, and want to shout out y'all for putting on an awesome broadcast in the league. Just great atmosphere, and I want to thank my buddy Hunter because he spotted for me and crew chief today, and really without him, I probably wouldn't have won this race. And I want to thank my teammates, Aaron and Keenan, for all the help. And but probably couldn't really win this race without Hunter because we had a really bad start. Because I gridded with 3 seconds left, and it kicked me out and made me start from the pits, and I was like, doggone. And I was like, I'm gonna fight through all this traffic. I'm pretty sure I fought through that traffic about went from the back to the front at least 3 times, I think, tonight.
Yeah, back to front, front to back every single time. You definitely put on a show getting through the field. Well, I want to tell you, appreciate you, bud. Keep your head up, and I'm sure we're gonna see you with more opportunities. All right.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try, hopefully finish, hopefully be here for every race till the end of the season. That's my goal, but I can't promise that. But the races I will be able to join, I'm guaranteed I'll be there.
Looking forward to it, man. That's your winner tonight, Rodney Roberts. I'm gonna send you back to the waiting room. But thank you for the interview, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Well, what a race here tonight at Kansas. In the Beverage War 250. From start to finish, that was a battle, man. The slugfest is an understatement. A lot of strategy being played, you know, a lot of tire wear coming into effect. Definitely a big factor in the outcome of this race, but pure determination out of Rodney Roberts got him to the front. In the end, it all came down to who managed their equipment the best and who made the right moves when it mattered. And tonight, that was Rodney. So he gets it done. Super impressive run, super impressive fashion to do that. Plenty of hard racing throughout the field. These guys put on an awesome show. A lot of these guys maintaining the momentum that they had in Bristol. But, there's going to be some guys wishing, thinking about what could have been here at Kansas, but that's Kansas. That's the HPRL Truck Series. You never know who's going to come out of the woodwork and get these wins. Well, from all of us here at Van, myself, Dire Roll Tider, Gator Hater Michael, y'all have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning into the broadcast. Real quick, if we can bring up the schedule, we'll show you what races we got coming up before we fully sign off. Next week is going to be the Duna Electric 250 at Pocono Raceway. Going to have to give a big shout out to Duna for sponsoring that. He is he's an electrician out in Georgia. So if you're out in Georgia, look up Duna Electric. And that will be 250 miles, 100 laps at Pocono. After that, we got the Texas 250. Then we're going to have an off week and then the Dover 200. And man, if I could race in the Dover 200, you know I would, Trevor. You know I would, boy. But we'll continue to keep you updated on the points next week. We'll continue to keep you updated on the schedule. From all of us at Van, y'all have a good night. And remember, if you see a bunch of weird veterans, a dude with a bunch of tattoos, and he leans out the window and says, "Get in the van," get in the van. Y'all have a good night, y'all.